Are you going to put me in prison and I'm gonna rot and die? Please don't cut off my head. You just wake up.
How could a 12-year-old know that a walk in a forest with two of her friends would result in a gruesome crime scene? We are going to talk about three girls named Morgan Geyser, Anissa Weier, and Payton, all around the same age. With a schizophrenic disorder, which causes the girl to perceive reality abnormally, is the reason that could lead the two 12-year-old girls to do something horrific to their friend, according to psychologists. In this video we look at the incident that took place. We try to explain this case to you and show you briefly what it is like to interrogate a schizophrenic child. This is Morbid Network. Videos about crime in every dark corner of the universe. Subscribe to our channel to prepare for the worst.
May 31st, 2014.
On a beautiful Saturday morning, a man who was biking in Waukesha, Wisconsin encountered a 12-year-old girl who had been stabbed multiple times and was lying on the ground trying to breathe. The man was shocked to see this girl struggling to maintain her heartbeat, so he immediately called 911 and asked for help.
911. What's the address of your emergency?
He came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, you still there?
Yes. Hi, sir. So, are you with this 12-year-old female?
Yeah, she says she's having trouble breathing. She said she was stabbed multiple times.
Stabbed multiple times?
Yeah.
He told the operator about the whole situation and stayed with the girl until she was taken to the hospital. But who would have done this to a little girl? How could anyone be so brutal? Payton's classmates, Morgan and Anissa, made a plan to lure the girl to the woods and stab her to death. How could these little girls have such drastic intentions? The girls report they did this for the Slender Man, a fictional character, to save their families.
She said, well, we have to kill Bella to prove ourselves to the Slender? Yes. And what did you think of this when she was telling you? I was surprised, but also kind of excited because I wanted proof that he existed, because there are a bunch of skeptics out there saying that he didn't exist. And then there's a bunch of photos online and sources online saying that they did see him.
The most unusual thing about the interrogation was that there was no need for the classic question-answer tactic or any specific interrogation tactics. The girls were very open about what they did to Payton.
What were you trying to do with her when you stabbed her?
Kill her.
Let's see how Morgan Geyser went through the interrogation process. She was very cooperative and was even interested in her friend Payton. She asked the officer at the beginning of her interrogation what had happened to Payton. She was even interested in the procedures that took place during the interrogation. The detective started asking her casual questions and tried to have a nice conversation with her.
How old are you?
I'm 12.
12. So you just had a birthday not too long ago? What'd you do for your birthday?
Mommy and I had sushi and cupcakes and Daddy.
During the interrogation, she said she liked going to school. She discussed her friendship with Payton and Anissa. Several mental disorders were revealed during her interrogation. Ultimately, police suspected Morgan Geyser of being the mastermind behind the attack. Detective Tom Casey told ABC, "There was a lot of deception in Morgan's interrogation," and Detective Michelle Trussoni agreed. It was obvious who the driving force behind this plan was. Morgan, without a doubt. Anissa's behavior during the interrogation was different from Morgan's. At the beginning of the interrogation, she started crying and tried to divert attention from the main topic by talking about other things, like how far she ran when the deputies caught her. It seems to be her way of dodging the horrible and morbid thing that happened to Payton. Let's take a look at what kind of friendship these three had and how they became friends. Morgan was a loner and was often involved in weird things at school. She avoided people, and that was when Payton came into her life and started talking to her. Soon they became best friends. Then she met Anissa and they became a small group of friends. As Anissa and Morgan began to spend more time together, Payton noticed a drastic change in Morgan's behavior. She became enraged and violent and always showed violent intentions, such as when she once told Payton that she wanted to set her house on fire. One time, in the basement of Payton's house, Morgan set off a small fire without any reason. Payton's parents noticed these negative changes in Morgan, and her mother asked her daughter not to see Morgan again. Payton Lutner did not know that her friends had been planning her murder for months. Weier later told police that they whispered about it in public, using code words like cracker when discussing the use of a knife and itch when talking about the actual murder. The motive behind their malicious attempt revolved around the Slender Man. They thought that killing their friend would appease him by killing Payton so that Slender Man would let them live in his house. The girls reportedly feared that if they did not kill their friend, Slender Man would kill their families.
May 30th, 2014.
Morgan and Anissa decided to carry out their plan. They planned to kill Payton during what should have been an innocent and fun occasion, Geyser's 12th birthday pajama party. Geyser and Weier later told police that they had several plans to kill Payton. According to ABC News, they considered taping her mouth with duct tape and stabbing her in the neck at night, but they were too tired after a day of rollerblading. Instead, they planned to kill her the next morning in a nearby park restroom, where her blood could go down the drain. The next day, in the park restroom, Morgan tried to smash Payton her head against the concrete wall to render her unconscious.
Like that to her forehead, banged her head up against the concrete. Okay. And then she was just like, "Excuse you," and pushed my hand away, so I said sorry, and I got bored and I needed something to do.
She said she had seen on the computer that it is easier to kill people when they are asleep or unconscious. And even easier if you don't look into their eyes. So that's why she tried to use this technique. Instead, Geyser and Weier decided to kill Payton near the woods. Unknowingly, Payton followed them into the woods, where she followed Weier's instructions to lie down and cover herself with leaves, thinking it was all part of their innocent game of hide and seek. Morgan Geyser told police, "We led her there and set her up. People who trust you become very gullible." Police asked Morgan about what happened next, and she said, "I already told you, stab, 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 stab. It was strange, but I didn't regret it. I thought you would feel, but actually I felt nothing." Morgan stabbed her friend a total of 19 times by cutting her arms, legs, and torso. She hit 2 major organs, the liver and stomach. One of her attacks was close to the heart. Morgan Geyser told police,
"I trusted you." And then she said, "I hate you." And then we lied to her. Anissa said that she'd go get help. I didn't have anything to do with the lying, Mom. That was all Anissa.
Instead, Geyser and Weier left Payton bleeding in the woods to die. They were determined to find Slender Man and become his proxies after the murder, with a backpack full of supplies and after completing their grisly mission. Police discovered drawings of Slender Man and mutilated dolls in Morgan Geyser's bedroom. They also discovered internet searches on her computer with phrases like "How do I get away with murder?" and "What kind of crazy am I?" We are happy to announce this story does have a happy ending. Payton was lucky enough to survive the attack. "When I woke up, the first thing I thought was, did they get them? Are they present? Are they being held? Are they still out there?" Both girls were arrested and charged with first-degree murder. In 2017, Anissa pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree intentional homicide and was sentenced to 25 years in the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. In March, she asked the court to release her from the institution. In 2018, Morgan was sentenced to 40 years in a psychiatric hospital. In 2021, a judge decided that Anissa, then 19, would be released after spending almost 4 years at the Winnebago Mental Health Institute in Oshkosh. Despite the prosecutors saying she was still a danger to others, adding that her mind is still immature and susceptible to dangerous influences. Anissa is required to live with her father while wearing a GPS monitor following her release. Morgan's potential release will depend on a court report by doctors, who must be appointed within a 20-day time frame. They will be tasked with assessing Morgan and submitting their findings to the court by late August 2022. This was a morbid story that put a question mark over young minds, their innocence and friendship. Nowadays, parents are even afraid to leave their children at parties because you don't know when someone is planning to kill your child. Share your thoughts on the video in the comments section. If you like the video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.